Jug, are you gonna be involved today?
Namaste and happy Sunday to you. My name is KJ Hamas and welcome to our Sunday evening yin class. I'm so excited to be here with you this evening. I say that every time, but I really am genuinely excited to be sharing the practice of yoga with you in asana form. So this evening, normal props that we always have: bolster or pillow, blanket, blocks, and you may wish to have a strap this evening, or a towel or your blanket can also work for that as well. I like to think about our Sunday yin class as a time to truly embrace rest and understand rest. And so I'm going to encourage that again this evening for you, and for you to really decide what is nourishing for yourself and take that to heart. And remember that I'm just a guide. So if I call something that just isn't going to be good for you, isn't going to feel good, there is no shame and there should be absolutely no guilt in doing something else and doing what would be best for you. So please keep that in mind as we move in our practice. With that said, I'm going to invite you to get started in any comfortable position that feels best for you. So we'll start off right off the bat, really listening to what is going to feel best for us. This can mean coming into a comfortable seat, lying on your back, lying on your belly. You may decide to start with legs straight up a wall. That can be an excellent place to start, as is any other position that really calls to you. So start to begin to take that shape, even using your props here to help you release and begin to soften. I'm going to invite the bell to bring us into our practice as you settle in. So coming onto your mat, into your space, finding a soft point for your gaze, you're starting to close the eyes. As we arrive here in our space, begin to take a deep, slow breath in through the nose. And exhale, open the mouth, sigh it out, let it go. A deep, slow breath in through the nose. And exhale, open the mouth, sigh it out, let it go. One last time for now, full breath in. And a full breath out. Inviting yourself, welcoming yourself into this moment. Orienting yourself in space and time. Space being here and the time being now. As we arrive on our mat for this portion of our yogic practice, we take time to honor and to remind ourselves of the stewards of the land who've come before us. So here in Washington, D.C., we're on Anacostan land. And for us to truly begin the practice of yoga, it is important that we honor the very first and earliest practitioners of the practice of yoga from the subcontinent of India, from Africa. Remember, this is an ancient practice stemming 5,000 plus years before any of us. So we want to take a moment to name and honor those teachers and practitioners who have brought us this practice. We continue to honor them today. And I invite you in this moment to honor yourself. Honor yourself for showing up, honoring any challenges along the way that it may have taken to come to this place this evening. Sometimes it's a very easy road to come onto your mat. Other days it can be mixed with various feelings, obligations, outside world influences. And as you take time to honor what it took to come to your practice, I invite you to name how you're feeling this evening. And you may start with just 2 simple words describing what you're bringing with you onto the mat. And remember, these words don't have to be the same. They can be complete opposites of one another. So we can hold the polarity at the same time. For example, you can be happy and angry. You can be confused and grateful. You can be sleepy and joyful. And we also don't have to feel positive and happy every time we step onto our mat. Reminding ourselves that this is a place for us to truly be in how you're feeling. Noting that whatever you're feeling is valid and is welcome in this moment. And as you've named your feelings, start to become aware of how they are manifesting themselves in your body. How are your feelings? How are the qualities you're bringing with you to your practice showing up physically? How are they showing up mentally? Think about where things are showing up in our body. And there's no right or wrong answer to this. So oftentimes we hear, well, we'll hold stress in our shoulders. You might be holding stress in your toes tonight. That's okay. Maybe you're holding sadness in your jaw. Maybe you're holding joy in your hips. You could be holding confusion right around your rib cage. Take a moment here to notice, to name, to understand how the interaction is taking place for you. Just as you notice the interaction and have named what you're bringing with you onto the mat, start to call to mind and begin to cultivate here what you can do to nourish yourself in this moment and in the rest of your practice, knowing that this nourishment may change throughout as you get more into your body to help yourself feel a little bit more unstuck and liberated. This may be your time where you set your sankalpa, your intention for your practice, based on the knowledge you've given yourself. Maybe it's just really settling into your nourishment so you can find peace. Maybe it's coming to terms with something. Maybe it's just fully embracing rest. There are few options. There are so many more. So as you're ready, just start to reawaken your senses, reorienting yourself in this moment, maybe even taking in the space around you a little bit, letting what you take in help create the space that you need. And from here, as you're ready, if you're on your backs, I invite you to roll onto your belly. If you're seated or in any other position, slowly come out of it and find your way onto your belly as well. So tonight, I'm going to offer up a bit of nourishment for our shoulders, for our back, and we'll move into a nourishment for our body, thinking that we can hopefully go into the week in a heart-led space. We'll begin with mummy pose. And I'll demonstrate from the side and then I'll come to the front. Bringing our arms out in front of us. Take your left arm and thread it underneath your right. With your right arm extended, this is the variation of half mummy. You can always place a block or a blanket underneath your forehead for cushion. Next variation, you bend at the hand. Use your hand as a pillow for sleeping mummy. And then the third variation is where the arms completely cross in front of the other. I recommend palms face up, but it may feel better for you for palms to be down. And this is mummy attempting to give itself a hug. And being here, so chin can rest on your arms. Chin can rest maybe on a block or a blanket. Forehead can rest on a block or a blanket as well. So physically here, we're targeting our rhomboids in the back side of the body. So thinking about the muscles also along the spine, and you might even start to feel it in the upper parts of the shoulders and in the neck, depending on where you're tightest, depending on the patterns in your body. As you settle here into this shape, take a couple of deep, slow breaths in and out. And begin to notice in your body where you're holding the least amount of tension, where there's the least amount of sensation. Draw your focus there. So not ignoring pain that comes up, because we don't want to ignore pain. We want to acknowledge that and make adjustments to help avoid pain and to avoid the harming of ourselves. But sitting in discomfort and embracing that. And one thing we can do is hold the discomfort in the same space as acknowledging that there's a part that may be the least amount, that may have less discomfort. And I'll also demonstrate this from the front, just in case you need it. But if you're already there, please continue to be there. As you're ready on your next exhale, slowly unwind. Take any movement that calls to you or come into your puddle pose. Arms can be out long by your sides, or you can use your arms as a pillow. As you come out of the shape or even start to take movement, observe and notice what you're feeling in your body and where you're feeling it. So the shape, as we release and work along energy lines, may have unblocked some energy, may have undug or, lifted up something else that is new to you. Name that, acknowledge it, honor it, and decide if you need different type of nourishment as you move forward in your practice. As you're ready, begin to bring your arms once again out long in front of you. This time we'll thread the right arm underneath the left. Half mummy, left arm extended out long. Sleeping mummy, left arm bent, able to use it as a pillow, or mummy attempting to give itself a hug, both arms crossing the body. Option for palms to face up, option for palms to face down. Just because you did one variation on the other side doesn't mean you need to do the same variation on this side. Our two sides can be very, very different and should be treated as such. So honor where you're at in this moment and take what you need here. As you start to settle in, once again, I invite you to notice a place in your body that is holding the least amount of tension, or maybe it's a bit more open, a bit freer. Draw your focus and awareness there. Being able to hold the discomfort and that opening in the same space. We're working toward being able to do that. Finding your gentle awareness and flow of your breath. Continuing to let the body soften when it's ready. The mind soften. And acknowledging what you need. And on your next exhale, slowly begin to unwind, taking movement if you'd like, finding stillness right away. We'll all meet in stillness eventually. Once again, allowing yourself to check in. What do you need in this moment? What do you need moving forward? We'll stay on our belly for our next shape. You want to make sure you have some room to be able to spread your arms out nice and wide. So I'll start by demonstrating from the front as we'll come into our open wing variation. So I'm going to demonstrate on my left. Feel free though, if you find that you need to get into your right side first to do that. So with demonstrating on my left arm will stay long, my right hand will come underneath my shoulder. And then I'm going to roll onto my left side, rolling on to my left shoulder. As you come in here, first notice your head. It might be a good idea to place your blanket, block, or towel or pillow underneath your head, just so the head and neck stay in line with the rest of the spine. As for your right hand, you can release it so it feels a bit more relaxed. You can bring it around for a half bind. You can let your hand rest on your side. In terms of your feet and your legs, again, several options and variations. First, you can keep the knees bent, just focusing on the upper body. Second option, you can extend your right leg. Left leg can be bent. It can be inside your leg or on the outside. And then a final variation, let's come into a butterfly pose here if you'd like. So getting into your hips just a little bit, depending on what your needs are this evening. So settling in to what feels best for you and truly doing what feels best for you. So you may have taken this shape multiple times before, and you've always been like, I've been, able to reach my arm behind me, but tonight that just feels awful. Then guess what? Don't do that. Same thing with your legs. Take your time. One note too, depending on the ground that you're on, if you're on a hardwood or your mat is thinner, you may consider placing your towel or blanket or even a sweatshirt or something underneath the shoulder joint just to provide a little extra cushion. Sometimes that can feel really nice and nourishing. From here, slowly start to unwind. Take your time to come out of your shape. Movement may call to you, maybe lifting up or moving your shoulders. And as you're ready, finding your variation on puddle pose. So this can be on your side, on your back or your belly. You may even want to come up into a comfortable seat and be here just to check back in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling. What type of mental nourishment can you give yourself in this moment? And as you are ready, begin to transition to the other side. If you were on your left shoulder last time, you'll be on your right, and vice versa. Extending one arm very long out to the side, and then rolling over. So same variations that were available to you on the other side are here. Right, left hand can stay bent, it can release, it can even take a half bind. Legs can be bent, long, half bending, or a butterfly. You might notice one side versus the other, so be mindful of that. And slowly from here, unwind, making movement or finding stillness. Your stillness, when you eventually do get there, can be on your side, on your belly, on your back, or even in a seated meditation. If it feels comfortable for you, close your eyes. Start to truly go inward. And then from here, begin to find your way to a seat at the top of your mat. Take your time. There's absolutely no rush. You can listen as you move. Next, we're going to take a forward fold, and a forward fold of your choice. So many options. Again, just depending on what you need. And you might take 30 seconds at the beginning to be like, go through all of them to decide what feels best. First option is caterpillar pose, legs out long, folding your body over your legs, sitting up on block, blanket, towel, pillow to help the hips, or placing a pillow underneath the chest. Option 2, straddle pose, bringing your legs out more into a V shape. You can decide the width of your V, and same props can be used. Again, think about your hips tilting forward, and a blanket, pillow, or block may feel very comfortable there. Folding forward here, being mindful of your knees. So if there's too much pull on the inside of your knee, consider placing blocks or blankets or pillows underneath it, or starting by tightening and engaging your quads and seeing if you release them over time, if that helps. And then final option is butterfly pose. Legs in or out, up to you. Folding forward here, letting your head rest heavy. You can come into your hands. You can always use your block as well, block or pillow for that. With any of the variations, consider letting your back fully round. Let go of the work of needing to force and stretch yourself forward. Can you just be and see what the body needs slowly over time? The stretch may not be super intense. That is so welcome. Sometimes we don't need super intense things. Sometimes we need the exact opposite of that. So where do you fall tonight? What do you need? It's going to let you be now. slowly begin to rise. Take your time. We're going to move into the next shape, but if you find you need movement, you need stillness, please, please, please take that. Listen to yourself. Our final shape this evening is going to be deer pose, and I have an alternative if you find that deer doesn't call to you. So starting with the legs, bringing your right foot in and then drawing your left foot behind you. Ankle can be on the ground, or your foot can be more parallel with your mat, with the earth. It's really what's going to serve you best. As you come into here, notice where you're feeling the stretch in the body. You want to start to feel the stretch along the front side of your leg. And from there, you can begin to increase what you need or take away what you need. So with your blocks, if you'd like, you can bring your hands down. I have them on the lowest level, but the level can always come up. You can come down to your forearms. You can come all the way onto your back. Be mindful that the more you lower yourself, the more you're going to crunch into your sacral lumbar joint. So be cautious of that and honor that. If you get all the way down to the ground, you're like, this really hurts my back. Back out of it. You nothing to prove to anybody by being able to go all the way back down to the ground. So listen to your body. Other option, which I think a lot of people tend to find more nourishing, tend to find a bit more release in, is an option in which you create almost a ramp with your block. So one block for your head, one block for in between the shoulder blades or just below the shoulder blades with your pillow, blanket, or bolster over that. And then from here, leaning back. So taking your time, finding what works for you, and settling in. If this does not call to you, your strap can come in handy here. You'd come onto your belly. You'll place your strap around the ball of your foot. As you bend your leg, pull your strap to help you stretch out your quad muscle. And you don't want to grip for dear life. You want to be able to hold it so you can release a bit more into the ground. As you're ready, begin to lift yourself up, taking what you need before finding your way to the other side. So coming into the other side in your own time, in your own space, not worrying about anything else, just what you need in this moment. And this side might be more intense. And if that's the case, come back to your breath and be able to hold the discomfort in the same space as openness. So notice the spot in your body that is more open, that is holding less tension, that has slightly less sensation. As you're ready, slowly come out of your shape. Take your time and take any final movement you need before coming into Savasana, final resting pose. Legs up the wall, on back, on belly, using a blanket as maybe warmth. You can even use a block or a pillow as additional weight on the body, so you might place it lightly on your chest, maybe on your legs, depending on what shape you've taken. But starting to find your place of rest. So as you settle in here, I invite you to take a full breath in and then a full breath out. Let it all go. You are here. Feeling the heaviness of the earth underneath you. Feeling the lightness of the air above you. Notice your head as it starts to melt into the support of both the earth and the air. And have that sensation travel down your body. What can you do here in this moment to nourish yourself? Can you surrender just a little bit more? You need to come into meditation. Do you need to take a different position? Do you need to move out of this space entirely and into another one? What do you need here? Begin to reawaken your senses, inviting some gentle movement into your body by wiggling fingers and toes. As you start to find your way to a comfortable seat, take in the space around you, noticing 5 to 7 objects, their color, their placement, just to reground you. And then as you're ready, we'll bring our hands to our heart space. Bowing heads in a moment of gratitude, thanking yourself for making time for your mat, and silently thanking those who joined you tonight to create this virtual community in this virtual space. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. and letting me share the practice of yoga with you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Thank you very, very much for joining me this evening. There will be no yin class next Sunday, no live yin class next Sunday. So if you're yearning for some yin, consider looking back at some of the other yin videos that have been posted in the past several months, or join me on Friday for Slow Flow plus Yin. So no yin next Sunday, the 27th, but we'll resume with our normal schedule after that.